In Magnolia Greens, perfection was more than a goal. It was enforced. Every hedge trimmed, every smile rehearsed. Luis Mercado moved quietly through the neighborhood, planting beauty, never speaking more than needed. Inside closed-door meetings, the HOA planned their spring projects. Luis was missing, but no one asked why. Days passed. A photo appeared on the bulletin board, blurry, almost like someone didn't want him found. Then came a new project, a community garden, pushed through quickly, approved even faster. On opening day, families cheered, kids dug happily, flowers bloomed, and something dark lay beneath it all. But one dog knew better. Beneath the petunias, it uncovered what the HOA tried to bury. Human bones, fragile, hidden, and definitely not meant to be found. A fingerprint match came fast. The system returned a name, Dale Richmond. But Dale was alive, living in a cabin, confused, angry, and innocent. Sarah Kim, the youngest board member, found a note on an old invoice. Need to talk, don't trust her. Marie Linton, the HOA president, kept smiling, but her garden gloves were far from clean. The sun rose gently over Magnolia Greens. Birds chirped, kids laughed, and beneath the soil, truth waited. It started with a dog, sniffing, scratching, barking wildly near the hydrangeas. Something was buried, and it wasn't a toy. A scream, a rush of footsteps. Neighbors froze as a tiny skull peeked through the dirt. This garden wasn't just for vegetables. Within the hour, yellow tape wrapped around the flower beds. Police combed the earth. Magnolia Greens no longer looked perfect. Forensics moved methodically, dusting, bagging, brushing. Each bone told a piece of someone's story. The bones gave up a fingerprint. The system worked fast. And then, a name, Dale Richmond. An ex-con with a sealed past. But Dale wasn't buried. He was alive, living alone in the woods. And he hadn't been to Magnolia Greens in years. Dale sat in the interrogation room, confused and furious. That's not me. I didn't kill anyone. I served my time. Detective Hart didn't believe in coincidences. And Dale's print showing up here? That smelled like someone was planting more than flowers. That night, Sarah unlocked the HOA's digital records. Password-protected folders. Deleted logs. Strange payments labeled site cleanup. Luis's name popped up in one receipt. He'd ordered lime, a soil treatment, and a body hider. Thousands in unapproved expenses. Emergency landscaping. Last-minute soil replacements. The paper trail smelled of cover-up. A motion sensor camera caught footage the HOA didn't delete. Late-night digging. 3 men. 1 tarp. No words. Sarah found his shed locked tight. And inside, she hoped, was the truth about what Luis really knew. As night fell, floodlights bathed the garden in blue. Magnolia Greens had dug too deep, and now the dead were speaking. The shed was quiet, dusty, but it told stories. Stacks of tools, soil bags, and a camera still recording. Sarah connected the camera to her laptop. The footage shook, dark grainy, but clear enough. Luis was scared, and he wasn't alone. You can't cover this up forever, Luis had shouted. Marie's voice snapped back. You're not one of us. Weeks earlier, Luis had struck something hard beneath the soil. Not rock, bone. He hadn't buried anyone, but someone else had. Luis had gone to the board, but no one wanted scandal. Not in Magnolia Greens, and especially not before the spring fundraiser. The HOA board met behind closed doors. No minutes taken, no objections raised, just a vote, silent nods, and a man's fate sealed. That night, 3 figures dragged a tarp across the lawn. Luis never left the garden alive. Sarah paused the video. Her hands trembled. The timestamp was 1 day before Luis was officially reported missing. She emailed everything to Hart. You need to see this. They're framing someone, and Luis is dead. The next morning, Hart returned, not as a guest, but as an investigator. Let's talk about Luis Mercado. Marie smiled politely. Her tone was ice. We cooperated fully. We always do. You're harassing residents now. But not everyone stayed calm. The treasurer's hands shook. His eyes darted. I wasn't involved. I just signed the checks. Before Hart could press further, a lawyer stepped in. No more questions. My clients are done talking. Word got out. At the next HOA meeting, tempers flared. Residents demanded answers. Marie gave none. A note slid under Sarah's door that night. Stop digging. Gardens are for planting, not exposing. But Sarah wasn't giving up. She packed her laptop, her files, and left town before nightfall. Sarah sat in a dim motel room, curtains drawn, eyes fixed on her laptop. The files she carried could burn magnolia greens to the ground. On the morning news, the headline blared. Luis Mercado disappeared in HOA eruption. The town finally started to listen. Detective Hart pieced together emails, footage, and bank logs. The deeper he dug, the more the HOA's roots reeked of rot. Marie stood on her manicured porch as officers cuffed her. Neighbors watched in silence. Their queen was dethroned. Dale sat outside the courthouse, tears in his eyes. 15 years in prison, and now this. But this time, someone fought for him. Town hall overflowed with angry voices. Residents demanded transparency, elections, accountability. Magnolia Greens wasn't green anymore. A tip came in, an anonymous voice whispering. Check the west side of the garden. There's more than just Luis down there. Bulldozers rolled in. The garden was torn up. 3 more bodies. All men. All with ties to old HOA disputes. A haunting montage. Glimpses of past years, past victims. Each buried beneath roses, tomatoes, and HOA lies. Sarah stood in court, voice steady. They knew. They covered it up. They made him disappear. Guilty verdicts echoed through the courtroom. Life sentences, plea deals, community service for those who stayed silent. Months later, Dale knelt in the dirt, planting again. This time, no secrets, no fear, just sunflowers and peace. Sarah drove past the new garden sign. Luis Mercado Memorial Park. She smiled. Justice had bloomed. The camera pans down through the soil. Roots twist and curl. But this time, they only carry life. Magnolia Greens had finally been cleansed.